Welcome to Debt Decoded on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Now, here's your host, Mike Delmonico.
Hello and welcome to Debt Decoded. This is Mike Delmonico, joined by my good friend Marshall Gilliam. Marshall, good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Mike?
Good. Marshall, once again, I want to try to get the message out to people, and this is why we do this show, is we can help you with any debt you have, whether it's college debt, whether it's mortgage, credit cards. We can help you in a very predictable manner with your current cash flow, Marshall. And that's the whole key to our program, is that when you sit with us, this is not debt consolidation, it's not debt negotiation, it's debt elimination, okay? We want to show you a strategy that is a proven strategy that has been around forever. We've just simplified it for everybody. And we take your current cash flow that will, in most cases, get you out of debt in less than 9 years, including your mortgage. And, you know, we have clients that are on track to do that. One of my first client that I wrote this on, Marshall, was back in 2014. They're going to be out of debt. They're on track actually a little earlier, but they're going to be out of debt, according to their schedule, in July of 22. So they're halfway there. And they're thrilled.
Good point you made. It's not debt consolidation. It's not any kind of trick or way to get out of paying, your debt or something like that. There's a ton of those things out there. In fact, most of the things you hear on the radio as far as ads are something like that. And, you're just exasperating the problem, man. We run into a lot of people that have home equity loans that they took it out to pay off credit cards and the medical bills, whatever. Now, all they basically did was free up space on the credit cards to go do it again. They're in worse shape than they were before. And, we see a ton of that. We see a ton of that come through. And, we want to make sure that you guys know that it's not that. It's like Mike said, it's getting rid of it, all of it, and doing it the right way, and not delaying your savings by doing it. And I know last week we had a great show. Last week we had a lot of good comments and a lot of positive. But I wanted to make sure people, might kind of know what's the process. What are they going to do next? What are they going to get? What are they going to, by calling the office? What are they going to do? I mean, what's going to happen? What are they going to get? What's it going to cost them? And what's that going to look like? I know there's a fear of the unknown in there, too.
Right. And great point, Marshall. We want to have transparency with our clients. We want to let them know, and we show them exactly what their money is doing, what goes to what, how they're going to pay that debt off. And here's the key. There's other debt negotiation. There's other debt elimination plans. There's one very popular TV person that has get out of debt plan. But the problem is you literally, based on their plan, can't do anything fun. You can't go out to eat. You can't go to the movies. You can't go on any vacations until all your debt is paid off. Now, to me, who the heck wants to do that? I know I don't. And our program, my clients are doing what they have been doing, and we have found and redirected their current cash flow that is not working as well as it should be for them. And we put that to the proper use, have that money do more than one job, and it's paying off their debt, and they're saving at the same time. So let's say that you just pay off the debt and you're not saving. You're losing 7, 8, 10 years or so with other programs. You're losing all that time value of money to earn interest. With our program, you are leveraging money, and that money continues to grow for you. So you're not losing any time for growth as opposed to other plans. I think that's a huge difference in what we do for people, Marshall.
Yeah, the time is huge. I mean, I know we've heard it. We've heard it growing up in our training, and heard it for a long time. But sometimes we don't forget to say things or talk about things that maybe we assume people not in our business know, which is that time. They call it time value of money. As we're going through educational stuff and training, and there's a story. I know you remember it, that it shows the importance of saving that and what time and putting it off does. and correct me if I'm wrong in the story, that if you take someone that comes out and goes to work and starts working at age 25, and they start saving in an investment, and they get 8% return, and they just save for 10 years and then never save another penny till they're 35. And person B comes in, and at 35, he doesn't save from the first 10 years, but at 35, he starts saving the same as person A did. And he saved from 35 all the way to 65 for 30 years. That guy never catches up with person A.
Because person A started much earlier. Right.
Yeah, so it's a big key thing in us and versus some of the other radio personalities that, have their total money shows and talk about getting out of debt. And it's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what they do because they're getting people out of debt. But, man, a lot of people quit because it's just tough. It's just tough. And when you get done, all that money you used to get out of debt, you're starting at zero at that point. And it's better off than being in debt. But there's just a better way to do it.
And it's a very easy process how we put the plan together for them, and it's predictable where they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. That end date is to the month. That's how predictable this plan is. And it's very simple to follow, for the simple fact is that when you do the plan, you tell us the funds that you want to put towards your debt elimination plan. We're coming up on a break in a minute or so, Marshall, on the first break, and we'll get right back to this. But I'm all about protecting assets that a client has, be as tax efficient as possible, and creating tax efficient income as possible. But if we can teach people and show people how to eliminate the interest that they're paying out to their creditors and be able to leverage funds they already have, that's a great way to create wealth. Because can you imagine if we can eliminate the risk of stock market loss, minimize the interest we pay out to our lenders, and minimize the taxes that we have to pay? If we can help people, which we do, with those three categories, everybody would be creating more wealth for themselves and creating better retirement for themselves. Marshall, we're coming up on the break in about 30 seconds. I just wanted to let everybody know they can reach us and set a time to meet with us for your individual report. You can reach us at 508-278-7488. 508-278-7488. This is Debt Decoded with Mike Delmonico and Marshall Gilliam on WCRN, Full Service Radio, AM 830. We'll be right back.
Now, Debt Decoded continues on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Once again, here's your host, Mike Delmonico.
Welcome back to Debt Decoded. This is Mike Delmonico with Marshall Gilliam. Marshall, at the break, we were talking about, of course, debt elimination, minimizing taxes that we have to pay on money we're not using, minimizing or eliminating losses in the stock market, and paying as little interest out to our lenders as possible. Now, all that would create more wealth, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, we talked last week, and we mentioned it last week, and again, don't want to sound like a cliche, but you'll do far greater by minimizing what you're giving away unnecessarily than you ever will by earning interest in some investment. What I mean by that is, that's one thing that happens when you come in and see us and you sit down and, we run, our we call debt management report for you, is it breaks down exactly how much interest you save over up until, let's say you say when retire at 65, whether you're 30, 35, or 50 or 55. It'll tell you exactly how much interest you'll save by doing this plan, spending the exact same dollars you're spending today. I mean, there's no, we think the stock market will do 8% average, or as some of the other people on the radio say, throw in some mutual funds and you'll average 12%. That's not reality.
No, it certainly isn't.
Yeah, when you can show someone exactly how much they'll save by not having to pay this out to something else, then there's no ifs, there's no hope, there's no probably, there's no historical possibility. It's money that's in your pocket that you didn't have to spend over the next, let's say, 10 years before you're out of debt. And we see so many times six figures, some 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 120, 30, 40, 50, that somebody is going to save in interest that they're not going to have to pay out.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of
that's
thousands.
Just basically adding it on to the, your retirement.
Let's talk about that for a second. I'm working with some people now that the past few clients I've worked with, their outflow of monthly payments is anywhere from, and 3 or 4 different clients, anywhere from, say, $3,000 a month, including the mortgage, car payment, any other bills, okay? $3,000 a month to $5,000 a month. So, one couple, they're in their, mid 40s. They're going to be out of debt by the time they're, I think it's 53 or 54. And their outflow of their debt service is about $4,000 a month. Now, they are going to be able to turn that debt service, Marshall, because we're accelerating their payoff date. We're going to turn that debt service into savings. So think of that for a second. That's $48,000 a year going to debt service that we are turning around for them, and they're going right to savings. $48,000 a year. Just their principal. Not to mention the previous 8 or 9 years that they're paying off their debt. That money they're leveraging, so that continues to grow also. And that's
it's amazing. That's one thing the report does, and I love what it does is, it shows you, like your client, that when they're done with this money was going out. What do you do with that? Well, we just show you if you're used to paying that, and you're going to be paying it for the next. That's what it does. Let's say they were going to be doing it for the next 15 years. It shows, well, what if you just keep paying it like you were going to be paying for 15 years, but now it's going into an investment at a minimum of, say, 4%, which you can get guaranteed. No market risk at that point. But it's just an amazing number. It's still, every time I do it, it just blows my mind. And many times we'll say, hey, instead of doing 4,000, let's put 2,000 back into your monthly lifestyle and just do 2,000 of the 4,000. So look what happened then. They got out of debt. They saved tens of thousands of interest. They've increased their retirement savings by an enormous amount by the interest they saved. They've increased their lifestyle by $2,000 a month.
Right.
And they got an extra $2,000 going toward retirement, which is going to make it even better. All in the same money.
All in the same money. And I want to make this point, and I hope everybody is clear in understanding this. Marshall, what is the interest rate that you are basing that on?
4%. So
yep. 4%. I just want everybody to understand that for a second. We're not talking about anything at risk at, 7 or 8 or 10 or 12%. We're talking contractually guaranteed 4%. There's no risk. You have flexibility in the plan. You call the shots. We build a program based upon your numbers, on what you're currently using, based upon your current income. We build a plan that fits your needs, that has you out of debt completely, typically in 9 years or less. There's a lot of people listening right now that have college loans. There's a lot of folks that have credit card debt, and you're paying the minimum payments. You are, you might be struggling and with this credit card debt, with high interest credit cards. We can help you. You contact us. I'll send you the debt data sheet. Get that back to us. We'll get you a report in 48 hours or less that will show you when you can be out of debt based upon the numbers that you give us. So it's risk-free, Marshall. It's risk-free. There's no obligation to deal with us, but we do want to help you. It's almost like a mission, Marshall, that we're on, to teach people how to eliminate their debt and be more predictable in what they're doing with their hard-earned money.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, like you said, you just can't emphasize enough, it's guaranteed stuff. I mean, it's guaranteed. It's not, it's stuff that's been tracked back hundreds of years. And when you can predict it, you can plan. It's, I mean, how many things can you say that, and we say it a lot, that the day you come to us and start your plan, I can promise you that's the worst it'll ever be.
Right. It gets better immediately. I mean, we're able to take action the first month that they start the plan. We're able to start knocking down their debt in a predictable manner based on their current cash flow. We're coming up on a break in a minute or so, Marshall, but I just wanted to reach out and let the folks know where they can reach us at 508-278-7488. Our office is at 221 South Main Street in Uxbridge on Route 122. Very easy to get to off of Route 146, north or south. And we're licensed in well over 15 states. So if there's anybody listening in Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, on WCRN, we can certainly help you. And you can check our website out at insuredfinancialwealthllc.com. And there's quite a bit of information there. You can check out client testimonials and see how we've helped those people. You can see their specific situation. Marshall, we're coming up on the break, and we'll be right back with more timely information for those of you, as most of us have debt to handle, and we'll show and teach you the best way to handle it. This is Mike Delmonico, joined by my good friend Marshall Gilliam, on Debt Decoded on WCRN, Full Service Radio, AM 830. We'll be right back.
Now, Debt Decoded continues on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Once again, here's your host, Mike Delmonico.
Welcome back. This is Mike Delmonico on Debt Decoded with Marshall Gilliam. Marshall, I want to address this segment a little bit to business owners, contractors. I have a very good friend of mine I went to college with, and he is a tremendous, hardscape designer for backyards, and he does walls and chimneys and outdoor patios and just really some beautiful work. And he just bought a new home, and so he has a mortgage, and he's got about probably 12 to 15 loans on equipment. And I did the report for him. And in his particular situation, he wasn't overpaying on anything. And his reasoning was, well, I'm paying the minimum because of cash flow. Okay? All right. What I showed him was all the interest that he'd end up paying on those equipment loans. And he's depreciating the equipment and so forth, so that helps on his taxes. But he's paying a tremendous amount of interest. So we did a report for him. He's going to save about $160,000 in interest. He's going to be out of debt compared to 30 years on the new mortgage. He's going to be out of debt in 5 years. Now, again, this was a little different because he wasn't overpaying on any of his debt. He was paying the minimum. So after a simple conversation with him, he decided that he's going to set aside $1,000 a month. So $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. He's going to apply $1,000 a month to the plan. So he's going to be out of debt. He's going to keep making his payments, but he's going to put an additional, in his case, $1,000 a month. Again, he's a business owner, contractor. He's taking $1,000 a month, and he's applying it to the plan. He's going to be out of debt, including his mortgage, Marshall, in 5.0 years, based upon...
Not bad.
Yeah, based upon the numbers he gave me, the interest rates he's paying, the minimum payments he's paying, the balances on the debt, in addition now to the $1,000 a month. Not only that, he's going to have a significant savings at the end of that 5 years. That is his money. So he's turned his debt into savings. So he's absolutely thrilled. And, it's very satisfying what we do because, he's looking at it, he says, man, you saved me well over $120,000. Well over $120,000. I think I don't have it in front of me, but I think the number's much more than that. So that's just one case that, one recent case that we helped a business owner. So any contractors out there, landscapers, anybody that has equipment, we can help. With the same cash flow. And had a friend of mine that is a veterinarian, and he just bought a new building. He has loans. He has student loans, as most doctors and veterinarians and dentists and so forth, most do, because of the extra schooling they have. And we're going to put a plan together for him that will eliminate that debt in a very timely manner. So if you own a business, if you have debt, you're either paying in the building that you're in, you're either paying a mortgage or you're paying rent to somebody else. And we can show you how to recover that money. If you're paying rent, we show you how to recover the money. If you're paying a mortgage, we can show you how to build an account that you can leverage and pay that loan off with the same cash flow that you're paying now in a very short period of time. Any comments to that, Marshall?
Yeah, it's very powerful for a business owner. Yeah, just because of the leverage of they got a little bit more cash flow than a household typically will, and they can leverage it really, really quickly. Many times, we see businesses of all sizes completely eliminate their debt to outside creditors.
Well,
debt you don't own yourself.
Exactly.
Within 2 or 3 years.
Marshall, now you're
advanced. Yep.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to interject for a second. Now, you and I were on a call yesterday with a gentleman that I met at a seminar, and he's down in Mississippi, down by University of Mississippi. And if you don't mind, talk a little bit about what his concern is and the project that he's doing.
Yeah, it's okay to talk. They're not going to be nobody's going to be hearing this.
I don't think we reach Mississippi.
Yeah, but not going to be mentioning any private information or any names or anything either. But they're doing a big real estate project. Several $1 million real estate project. But it's the same proportionally for someone that's doing a $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 project. But what they ran into is the bank keep coming back to them, wanting to change the terms, wanting to change the deal. And, they went so far in the project, they're 90% through the project. And, it's getting down to the point where they're going to have to convert that over to a permanent loan structure. And, the bank is, we're going to have to do this interest rate now. We're going to offer you 5.25%, but now it's going to have to be 6%. And, these guys are like 90% done. They've got appliances in these apartment complexes they're doing, and it's like student housing. And, they're kind of at the mercy of what the bank is saying. And that one little change is going to cost them, he said, $6,000.
And I said,
you said a year. He said, no, a month.
$6,000 a month.
Yes, that little change is going to cost them $72,000 a year from the owners. And what we're working with them on is setting up their own bank plan like this, that eventually the owners will be the bankers,
right,
themselves, and then they'll be able to loan money to their company for their projects, and the company pay them back personally as the owners. And that's what we mean by outside creditors being the bank, and versus you owning your own debt that your business can borrow from you and pay yourself back, and in that way.
And speaking with him, he was very frustrated because they had no control because they're at the bank's mercy.
Yeah.
And now they got to come up with.
They have no choice.
Yeah. Now they got to come up with that extra thousands of dollars a month. And obviously it's a big project. But the point is, we're going to be able to help them because they have the cash flow. And we're going to be able to help them pay off the bank note extremely timely manner. Marshall, we're coming up on the last break before the next segment. When we get back, I'd like to, really stress upon people the difference in interest rates of what they're paying and what they could save. So regarding college loans and things like that. All right, this is Mike Delmonico with Marshall Gilliam on WCRN Full Service Radio, AM 830. We'll be right back.
Now, Debt Decoded continues on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Once again, here's your host, Mike Delmonico.
Welcome back to Debt Decoded. This is Mike Delmonico. Thanks for listening today. I'm joined by my good friend Marshall Gilliam. And Marshall, I really want to hone in on helping people understand what we're trying to do and helping them with their current cash flow and why, quite frankly, anybody that's listening that has debt should contact us. You can contact us at 508-278-7488, and we can put your own personal plan together, completely confidential. There's no obligation once you get the plan. You decide if you want to move forward. You decide how much money you want to put towards the plan, but we will help you find that money to put the plan together and get you out of debt, most cases 9 years or less, including your mortgage, which will save you, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest. So Marshall, let's say you have a $400,000 mortgage, Marshall. How much do you think that loan's going to cost you over 30 years?
Well, I know the answer, but it's going to cost you almost double.
So a $400,000 home is going to cost you $800,000.
It's probably more like $725 to $750, but somewhere in that ballpark, yeah.
Okay. Still, that's a lot of money. So, $325,000 of interest over 30 years. So we want to put that money back in your pocket, people. We want to teach you how to put that money back in your pocket. You have, for those that are listening, you have college debt, you have mortgage debt, you have credit card debt, you have car loans, whatever else there may be. There's a lot of stress. People are really stressed today, Marshall, with a lot of debt, and it's due to the fact they don't have a plan. We're not taught this in school, in high school. We're not taught this in college. And most of us go to college and end up with large loans that might be with us until we're 35, 40, or older. And if you contact us, we can put a plan together for you. We don't charge a fee, okay? We get paid by the companies we work with, and we're independent. So we go and build the best policy for you, the best situation for you to get out of debt in 9 years or less, and we do this in a very predictable manner and give you a plan that is a lot less stressful than what you're going through now, because I know, when you have debt, it can be very, very stressful. What are your thoughts, Marshall, regarding how the student loans are worked? Share a little information on that as far as Parent Plus loans.
Student loans have gotten terrible. I mean, they're worse than credit card debt now. I heard you say a couple weeks ago that they've surpassed credit cards.
Right.
Yeah, and you hear the numbers and you think, wow, it sounds like it's approaching the national debt. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we're talking trillions of dollars. I mean, it's they're just so burdened with that coming out because they don't have a strategy early on. So I know you guys, especially at the office there, you guys have a great plan for parents that are what I call late stage.
Right.
College planning, 7th grade, 8th grade, middle, late middle, and even freshman, sophomore, junior, to reduce the amount that you'll have to pay to go to college, not by taking loans, but by some super strategies that you guys have. But, early on, families that have younger children, they're able to, implement this plan. And then when it comes college time, they've got this account that they can, again, use for college without keeping it from growing, it doesn't stop growing while you're using it to go to college, send your kid to college. So 4 or 5 years down the road, it's still, you haven't lost that time, and you've not burdened them down with, mountains of debt that they'll take, years to get out of.
And it gives you more, the plan that we put together is flexible. You can, as you said, you can use it to help pay for college. I have clients that are doing it right now. They're using it to help pay or to pay the full cost of the college. And in regarding college, if you know the rules in what money is countable and not countable on the FAFSA form, if you know those rules, you can save tens of thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands. One phrase I like to say to people, if what you always thought to be true turned out not to be, when would you want to know? The answer to that, Marshall, is, well, as soon as possible. And a lot of people have 529 plans. It's the college savings plan. That is only put to use if your child goes to college. If your son or daughter is a junior and senior in high school and you started this when they were 5 and 6 years old and they decide, hey, you know what, Dad, I'm not going to college. I'm going to tech school and I'm learning a trade. That money can only be used for college. If you use it for something else, is a 10% penalty on it. And you're taxed on the gains. So there's certain things that I think people need to know to make their money work for them. And again, college is a huge expense, and people are in debt. Thousands and tens of thousands of people, Marshall, in our area, in your area, are just decimated by the interest they're paying on college debt, and we help them with that also. What do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Go ahead.
Yeah, the college thing is just, I saw, it just made me think when you were talking there, I heard something the other day that, people are waiting till they're, 30, average of 30 to get married now. And I don't know if it's got anything to do with the college debt or not, but, what happens is you get out, you got this debt, you get a job, you got to have the nice car, you get married, you got to have a house, and then you have kids, and having this debt, it's like having a mortgage going into your life.
Right.
Like you graduate college and, hey, great, here's a mortgage, basically. And it's structured in a way that if you pay the minimums, it'll never pay off in your lifetime, which is, to me, just, I don't know how they can even allow that to be set up that way.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't make any sense. You're burdened with a loan your entire life where you go to school and try to better yourself to get a better job, which isn't guaranteed or promised. And, it's not the job you want, but, we'll pay you this. And where they hope to be making $70,000 or $80,000 a year, now they're making $40,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Just a very stressful situation for them and the parents. And again, college debt, we can help you handle in a very efficient way. But there's so many things that we can put together and look at the big picture for you folks. And every situation is different. So please don't hesitate to call us. We can help you. No matter what your age, no matter what the amount, we can help you. And, Marshall, I just had a gentleman, great guy. He's 67. He's dealing with some debt. And we're going to be able to, he's got the cash flow, and we're going to be able to help him. We've got the plan for him. He's going to be out of debt in a short period of time, very short period of time, like, 2 or 3 years. It's just, putting a plan together. So no matter, debt has no age limit, and, we can help you. Any other closing thoughts, Marshall? I greatly appreciate your time and your expertise in this matter.
Yeah, I think that's important. You said, don't not, I know that's a double negative, right? Don't not call because you're ashamed of what you've done, or you think, oh, they'll think terrible of me, because I can promise you,
we're the judgment-free zone.
We've seen worse. And I was just telling my daughter something the other night, the old phrase, but it really is good, is, if you need a shade tree, best time to plant it would have been 20 years ago. But the next best time is today.
That's right.
And don't look back 5 years from now and still got debt, still wondering when you're going to be out of debt, when you might be able to retire, when you could have taken care of it today.
Yeah. So the earlier you deal with us, the better off you're going to be. So I encourage each and every one of you listening, give us a call. There's no risk. There's no obligation. We'll put a plan together specifically designed for your situation that will be predictable down to the month when we can get you out of debt based on your numbers. You're in control. You're the boss of this program. All right. Marshall, thank you so much for joining me today. It was a great program. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll be talking to you shortly. This is Mike Delmonico with Debt Decoded on WCRN Full Service Radio, AM 830. Thank you very much.
This has been Debt Decoded with Mike Delmonico on Full Service Radio, AM 830 WCRN.